Well, what happened next was the following. We couldn't touch it. Everybody complained and started getting sick and that. And then it took about, there was already a truck there already, a gas truck. We call it petrol. A gas truck there, Mercedes-Benz military truck there already. But this thing was quite heavy. We couldn't, once it cooled down and everything else, it's like it was going through a cooling process.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, one of the lieutenants turned around and said, "Sir, please take a look. That hatch is open."
That hatch is open?
Yes. He
Oh,
brought my attention to it, and he says, "I don't know if it's... I hope there's no hostile coming out of this thing, because we got, all we got is R1s and R4s, which is Gala guns, and a few mortars, and that's it, and we got no way of fighting this thing, at the time, and that's what I thought. I called the perimeter off, and I'm very nervous because we are very close to the border.
How many of you were there?
We were approximately, there was, the patrols will normally go out on what we call patrols, border patrols, the people who do the footwalk. They actually fact I lift my hat up for those guys because they had a 100-pound backpack to carry, and they had, some of them had to walk around about 600 miles in 30 days, patrol the border.
About how many, General?
They were normally about between 12 and 24.
So somewhere in that range were with you next to this crashed object. One of them says the hatch is opening. Did you get a look at the hatch?
No, I didn't take a look at the hatches this morning. The morning was breaking already, and I had the hatches open. So one of the reckies decided, well, I'm going to take a look. What the heck is this thing? And he opened it up, and I said, I ordered him to get away from it. I don't know what it is. And he said, "Gee whiskers, where's this child? How come they have a child in here?"
A child?
Yeah, because the object, the thing inside is like the size of a 10-year-old child, small in body structure.
Yes.
And I said to him, "Get away from there," and he got away eventually. And then he says, "Well, they must have been burnt because they're gray as hell."
Gray.
Yeah, because he thought that there was a fire inside, and they got, the bodies got charred, from the fire. Got
yes.
burnt.
Yes, of course. So you had small, apparent 10-year-old, chronologically, beings that were gray in color. Your man thought charred.
Yeah, and he thought they were charred, and I said, well, a few minutes later, I said, well, we got to clean up this mess now. I got to go back to the base, and but there was one thing about it. While this thing was glowing, and that the patrol truck, which came up with to secure the perimeter around it, was a gas truck. It also cut out and had problems moving anywhere.
Uh-huh.
And then I said, well, we can't lift this thing up by ourselves. We have to call the engineers in with an engineering truck.
Sure.
Which has got a crane and a boom, and that was diesel, and nothing happened to that.
And so a diesel engine was unaffected?
It was unaffected for some reason or another. I don't know why. At the time, it could move, and we had power to lift this thing on the back of the truck.
Did you lift it and begin to move it with the beings still inside?
The beams were inside,
all right.
because I felt that this is not a place for this kind of investigation. And I made a phone call. The general told me that, is there any other pieces of it laying around? And I said, no, the thing is intact. It's just got one hell of a dent in it.
General, may I ask a question? At this time, were you beginning to think that you had perhaps had an extraterrestrial craft on your hands, or were you still thinking that it was a foreign test aircraft?
I thought it was a foreign test aircraft.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's the notion about it.
All right, so you had it then taken back by engineers.
Yeah, the engineers lifted onto another diesel truck, and we started moving it through the Kruger National Park. At that time, what happened to the helicopter, any thing at the time gets too close to it, it just cuts and dies, and you couldn't get it operated again.
Gotcha.
And so we moved it about 800 miles back to Pretoria, to the secret base I talked to you about. Now, it's in the middle of the city. That's the big thing about it is, and they do a lot of secret work there, actually. And people don't think about it. They don't even know about it. The thing is, we moved it to Pretoria, about 800 miles from the border, to the central of the country. Then it was moved to a base about 400 miles away from Cape Town called Easterplaat.
Yes, sir.
And there it stayed for 3 days. Then I was out in, where was I? I was out in Pugalanga, another place looking for a terrorist. I was assigned to look for a terrorist. And I was called back to Pretoria, and the general turned around and said, "You have an assignment." I said, "No, I can't do this assignment. Please, General, get somebody else to do it, because my service time is almost over, and I have to return back to my normal civil duties as an engineer."
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "No, you need to do it. You found this thing. You need to take care of it. And I don't want anything else more to do with it." So I said, "What do you want me to do with this thing?" And he said, "It's not ours. We got to get it back where it came from." And he said, "Plane is waiting for you at Easterplaat. You have to go there. The plane, the aircraft. We had Herculeses over there.
The Hercules C-130.
Yeah, the C-31 was
So,
already fueled up and ready to go, and the object was already loaded. And he said to me, "You got to take it to the U.S."
To the U.S.
To the U.S. I said, "Well," and I'm really mad because my service time is nearly up, and I want to spend time with my family, which I normally don't, because between when I finish my service, I leave the country to do my engineering work as a civil, as a marine engineer.
Yes.
And I was pretty mad, and I was really, really upset because it means I'm not going to see my family for a year. And
nevertheless, you packed this thing up.
And I just got to the base, and I told my group was already ordered by the general staff to be at they were flown there to fly extra security with the plane. But then, before they loaded the disc, but they didn't load the 2 body bags at the time. I didn't know
2 body bags came separately?
The 2 body bags came separately at the time. And I asked them to open it up because I was very suspicious, and I had a very bad temper about things closed because of all the bombs and stuff we had dismantled in the past.
Makes sense.
And I said, "You open this damn thing. I don't want to, And there was 2 gray people with very long fingers, and the eyes were, were bigger than horse eyes, you know what I'm saying? And I said, "Close the damn thing. I don't want to see this. I wanted to see there's no explosives anymore." And that thing had happened. They put these 2 grays on board, and...
But there was no mistaking what you saw, General.
There's no mistake what I saw, and I turned around and I said to my gunnery sergeant, I said to the adjutant, I said, "Are you playing games with me again?" He had a bad habit of playing games on me. And he said, "No, no, Brigadier, this is the real thing." I said, "Well, what the hell is this?" And he said, "I don't know. None of us knew,